Alright, sup Mark, sup anyone else who is watching this video. In the last video we looked at, we did major scales, and specifically we went over shape C and shape A, and we're doing this whole project in the key of D. Later on we'll talk about how to shift keys, but for now we're going to stick with the key of D. So we started with on the 5th fret of the A string, beginning with the pinky. Shape C, and then we 5th fret A string, but beginning with the middle. That's shape A. Okay, now the third shape, which is the third shape, which is referred to as the G shape major scale. This scale is going to be a lot trickier. Now we're going to leave the 5th fret of the A string. Bye bye. We're not going to use that anymore as a root. That note's not going to be involved in this scale anymore. So if that's not the root, where is the root? Okay, the root now is going to be not on the A string, but on the E string. We're going to jump all the way to the 10th fret, the 10th fret of the E string. Okay, but we're going to fret it not with the index, not with the middle, but the pinky. We're going to fret it with the pinky. Okay. Again, before I begin, in the description below there will be a link to grids, and once I describe how this major scale unfolds from one side to the neck to the other, do your best to look at the grids and try to find the one that I'm referring to, and then make a mental note that this is the G shape, and then just practice it a lot. Okay, so the 10th fret of the E string, we're beginning with the pinky, right? Okay, so how does this work? Well, for the E string, that's the only note you play. Then we're going to go to the A string again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's just going to go. Okay, so number 4 on the 10th fret of the E string. Now the A string is going to be 1, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 3, 4. Next string, 1, 3. Now this next string is going to be tricky. It's going to be 1, 2, 4. However, it is shifted not up but down. Okay, 1, 2, 4 shifted down. Okay, now the next string is going to be 1, 2, 4 again, but it's going to be shifted up. And then the last string is going to be 1, 3, 4. So not 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. So that's a doozy. This is a hard one to get around. So let's start at the top again. On the E string, we have the pinky on the 10th fret. A string, 1, 3, 4, meaning 7th fret, 9th fret, then the 10th fret. And then 1, 3. So four, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3. Okay. Now next string, shift 1 fret low, and then 1, 2, 4. Next string, 1, 2, 4, but shifted up a fret. 1, 2, 4, and then the last string, 1, 3, 4. Practice this for at least 10 hours and get this shape down. Get this shape down, okay? This is the G shape. Alright, that's the G shape. So let's take it from the bottom. We have C shape, A shape, now G shape. Everything is in the key of D. C shape, A shape, G shape. Okay, let's move on. Now we're going to go to the E shape. Now the E shape is going to have the same root as the G shape, which is the 10th fret on the E string. But in the G shape, we began it using the pinky. Now in the E shape, we're going to begin it using the middle finger. Now, For those of you watching, I make these videos for my cousin, who I am explaining all these things to. And for his sake, I'm just going to tell him, not to everyone else watching, but just to Mark, that this is the scale of which you are already familiar with, okay? So we're on the 10th fret of the E string, beginning with the middle finger. So that is a 2. It goes 2 to the 4. Next string, 1, 2, 4. Next string, 1, 3, 4. Next string, 1, 3, 4. Next string, a 2 to the 4. And then last string, 1, 2. All right, that's shape number 4. And now, so C, A, G, what's going to be the fourth one? C, A, G, caged, C, A, G. Yes, what we just played there. This is the E shape. The E shape. Do you understand me? E shape. E. This is E. All right. And now we come to the final shape. And this is the 5th and the last shape. I know it's very sad. This is going to be, what is going to be the shape? We did C, we did A, we did G, we did E. What's the last one? C, A, G. Caged. C, A, G, E. D. Oh, it's going to be D. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I'm a little slow. D. Now, for shape 1 and 2, C and A, the root was on the A string. For shape 3 and 4, G and E, the root was on the E string. So, A and E. For shape 5, the D string, or excuse me, for shape 5, the shape of D, the D shape, the root is going to be on the D string, actually. It's not on the first 2 low strings, it's actually on the 3rd one, okay? And we're still going to do this in the key of D. In the key of D. So what does that mean? So the root, this is going to be a little hard for me because my guitar does not, my wrist is whatever. If your guitar is nicer than this one, then you know. Okay, so anyways. This scale is going to start on the D string, on a D, which is the 12th fret. Okay, we could do this open string. We could, but we're not going to do that because an open string changes the shape a bit. That's the only. So we're going to play it beginning on the 12th fret of the D string. So we're going to start with the middle finger. I'm not going to flip you off here. Middle finger, okay, on the 12th fret. Okay, that's the first note. Note number 2 is the pinky. Okay, next string is going to be 1, 2, and 4. Okay, next string is 1, 3, and 4, but shifted up a fret. 1, 3, 4. And then the last string is going to be 1, 3, 4 as well. Now, you're in the middle of the neck, and there are notes which you can play that go beneath the root that are still in the scale, right? Obviously. What are those notes? So we're at the root, middle finger on 12th fret of the D string. So go back 1 note, and then A string, pinky, middle, and then last string, pinky, middle, index, but shifted up a fret. So 1, 3, 4, and then 1, 3, and the next string 1, 2, but shifted up a fret. It's a little tricky. So again, I forgot to say it in the beginning. Again, check the description, look at the picture of the grids, and then try to find the shape that I'm talking about. Remember, the root is on the 12th fret of the D string, or in the middle of the scale. Shoot, now that I think about it, the picture that I uploaded, or the picture that I put in the description, may or may not have the roots highlighted. I think that would do a lot to help you to figure out what grid corresponds with the one that I'm talking about. I'll do my best to correct that if it's not already. But if not, do your best, because at this point we're on shape 5. So we've already talked about 1, 2, 3, 4. So there should be only one left that this should be. If anything's unclear, just let me know. All right. So in recap, this video is getting long. So we're gonna do 5th fret on the A string with your pinky. Can you play that scale? 5th fret A string with the middle finger. You can play the whole thing across the neck, but I'm just playing from the root to root. Just. And now the next root, 10th fret of the E string. Beginning with your pinky. Now that same root, but beginning with your middle, and then root on the D string, 12th fret. And now here's the beautiful thing. We're on shape 5, right? Well, what happens if you go up again? This next area, what happens there? Well, there are only 5 shapes, right? That means that shape 5, if you wanted to play it higher, it would go all the way back to shape 1. Now, if you can impose this shape all the way up here, let's say the root is on the B string on fret number 3. So if you want to impose that all the way, you just add 12 all the way to the 15. So 12, 13, 14, 15. Now you're going to impose the rest of the shape based off that 15. And then take a wild guess what the next one will be. It'll be shape 2, the A. C-A-G-E-D, C-A-G-E-D, forever. Those are the 5 shapes of major scales. They never change. They're what they are. So if you sit down and play every scale 1,000 times, which is what I'm doing too, by the way. We're starting to get to the point where you're reaching the kind of playing that I'm practicing. Then you'll have that power at your fingertips no matter where you are. Okay, so we've gone over the 5 shapes. Now in one more video related on this topic, I'm going to go over briefly a couple of exercises you could do to help ingrain these shapes in your mind, and then beginning to kind of mix and match the shapes, how you can begin in one shape and then switch over to the other one, because that's where cool magic happens. All right, so again, picture in the description for the grids. You know this by now. Any questions you have, anything unclear, anything that you would like me to cover that I haven't yet, or what have you, leave it in the comments. If you just want to say something, tell me to go screw myself, leave that in the comments too. And I hope this was useful, and see you next time.